Before we get into this video, I want to just take a brief moment to tell you guys I have built my first set of LUTs packs. It's a very small pack, but these are something that I've been working on for quite a while. The first pack I've ever put together, it's designed specifically for the two newest Blackmagic cameras, the Pocket 6K and the Pocket 4K, as well as the Canon C200. And what these LUTs do is they emulate the look of both of red wide RGB gamma as well as ARRI's log C. So if you're interested in having these LUTs, make sure to follow the link in the video and also check them out. It's really affordable, and any sort of help that you guys can help contribute to continue building this platform, I greatly appreciate it. But enough of that, on to the video. What is up, everybody? James Jackson here. I'm back again with another video. If you're new to my channel, I do gear reviews as well as tips and tricks for the film and video making industry. So if you like the content here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. So today I am continuing talking about my experience and comparing the experience between Blackmagic's Pocket Cinema Camera 6K and the Canon C200. And this video is all about the RAW workflow and what I like about one, what I don't like about one, and vice versa. So, not wasting anybody's time, let's get right into it. So, if you haven't known, if for some reason you've been living on the RAW, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K and the Canon C200, personally my two favorite cameras that is out right now, they both are able to shoot RAW internally, and that's one of the main reasons why I love these cameras so much, is because their ability to shoot RAW internally to both of these cameras. Overall, there's not a overall winner victory for me. But there is certain things that I do like about one over the other, and that's what this video is about. So let's talk about Cinema Raw Light. The C200 was the first camera to introduce Cinema Raw Light. Now the C500 is coming with Cinema Raw Light in 6K, and then Canon sort of teased the 1DX Mark III that will be able to shoot Cinema Raw Light, though we don't know what resolution that one's going to be at. But Cinema Raw Light is a great codec for many different reasons. Number one, it's a codec that can be used on all the major NLE platforms. Every single one of them can decode it, decipher it, and edit it natively in their program. Premiere, Final Cut, Resolve, Avid, you name it, they all can edit Canon Cinema Raw Light natively into their codecs. Now, each one of those NLEs handles the RAW very differently, but the ability to work with it natively is still a great option to have. The next thing that's so great about it is the fact that it offers you access to C-Log 2, which is a very high dynamic range gamma curve. It can have up to 15 stops, but again, it depends on if your sensor is capable of seeing that much resolution, that much dynamic range. In the case of the C200, it's roughly around the 14 stops, not somewhere between 14 stops of dynamic range, whereas like it's the C-Log 2 can do somewhere around 15 stops if you have the sensor that's capable of doing that. The other thing I love about it is just the workflow, specifically in Resolve. Resolve is my main workflow for it. And the reason why I like Resolve is because it has the best color grading software in the world, me personally. And with this and with Cinema Raw Light, I have so much control over the raw metadata itself. And it's one of the things that I kind of miss about the original Cinema D&G that was in the Pocket 4K originally before BRaw came available. Because I can basically do my color boost, my highlights, my shadows, my lift, my gamma. I can make all those controls right there, non-destructively, right in there in Resolve, and be able to make those changes should I want to, without even touching any of the node formats. You can't change the gamma and the color science for some reason in Resolve. Now, it doesn't mean that the metadata is baked in. It's not, because you can change that in Premiere Pro. It's just for some reason Resolve is not able. You're not able to do that with Resolve. Hopefully that changes in the future. Now, one of the things now let's talk about things I don't like about Cinema Raw Life. One, the file sizes are massive. They are massive. It is it's very similar, akin to working with Cinema DNG. Massive file size. Now now it's not as gruesome on the processor, because instead of like a series of photos like Cinema DNG is, this is one file, so it's easier for the computer to work with those files over, say, Cinema DNG. But the files are still huge. To me, half a terabyte CFast card is an absolute must for me on the C200 whenever I'm filming, because just 512 gigabytes will give you just a little bit over an hour of record time. That's like using the full sensor 6K at 50 frames per second on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. That is using the exact same files for 6K files. And this is just simply with 4K 24, 30 frames per second files. It's huge, it's massive, but the quality of those files are still great. The other thing I don't like about it, or it's not that I don't like about it, sort of I wish was a little bit better, was the fact that I wish the higher frame rates were actually in 12 bits. C200 only does 10-bit RAW at 60 frames per second and 50 frames per second, whereas this guy right here, the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, can do all of that in 12-bit, regardless of the frame rate you choose it to. Now, let's talk about the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K's Blackmagic RAW. Things that I like, file sizes, the flexibility of file sizes. This thing, it's insane how much flexibility you get in terms of your file sizes with this. Shooting 6K 50 frames per second using the full sensor, you get about 60 minutes. However, if you were to shoot that full resolution at 24, you're getting just over 2 hours of runtime for 24 frames per second. So that's more than double, and that's 6K. If you were to drop down, if you were using the Pocket's 4K, or you were dropping to the anamorphic mode in the 24 frames, you're getting 625 minutes of record time. That is huge. It works natively in DaVinci Resolve. Obviously, Blackmagic uses that, is built the camera, so they obviously would make DaVinci Resolve work for it. Other thing I like about it that Blackmagic did that Canon did not was the fact that they built a media player designed to play back their RAW files, and I'm so glad that I can able to just, when I open up the file, I can see what it is and play it, even though it's not necessarily the most, it doesn't lag or get jittery as it's playback, but I can actually see what I want, so that way I can drag the media files if I want those or not. Can't do that with the C200. And the other thing I love about it is that if you're looking for a RAW codec for a fast turnaround, this is a great codec, simply because it definitely still gives you those flexibilities of a RAW codec, but at the same time gives you the streamlined capability of just being able to do quick turnarounds and just going in and getting in and out. However, that leads to my major downside of this RAW codec, and this can obviously change in the future as Blackmagic builds this RAW codec more, but I don't like how limited the metadata use is of the RAW codecs. If all you care about is the white balancing, tint, and exposure, and then changing your ISOs with the highlight recoveries, with the gamma curve, if that's all you care about, this is fine. However, one of the things that I absolutely loved about Cinema DNG and what I love about the C200 is the fact it gave me so much flexibility in making the image look how I want it to look, getting the grade done in the RAW development tab before I even start, doing the full-on grading. I can get all my corrections done right there in the RAW tab. And that's what I could do with the Pocket 4K, but since Blackmagic RAW has developed this, you don't. Yes, you do have highlight roll-off and shadow roll-off, but it doesn't work nearly as good as highlight works and shadow works and lift and gamma, it doesn't work nearly as good as those things for it. It's very limited on its capabilities. So that's one of the things I absolutely love about the C200 Cinema Raw light compared to Blackmagic Raw's light. The other thing, this is something that necessarily isn't a bad thing. I wish that you could be able to have full bayering from the Raw sensor compared to and I understand why they did it. They did it to streamline and to make the process easier. I just wish I could be able to do that, because it's in the event that future developments of a codec of the Raw comes, I could take advantage of that, because it's just sensor data at that point. But because things are baked in and it becomes an actual file, you can't really develop it with newer technology as you could with a full RAW codec like Cinema Raw Lite or ProRes RAW, or every other RAW codec. But that's a small thing compared to the capabilities. It's a great RAW. I love RAW, working with RAW, especially like this in low light. To have a RAW codec that you can work well with in low light, obviously because it is applying noise reduction into the file, but it definitely helps. So overall, me personally, I love both of these codecs. And I'll say this, whenever I have to do a project and I need a tight turnaround and I just need to go in and develop the highest quality possible, Blackmagic Raw is the way to go for me. However, when I want more control over the raw data and I really want to tweak and really sort of give myself the much more creative workflow, I go with the C200 and Cinema Raw Lite, because I have that flexibility with so much more of the raw controls, and having the ability to control the highlights as much as I can in Cinema Raw Lite compared to Blackmagic Raw is a real game changer. It's a deciding factor for me in terms of where do I want to go with creative boosting. But I work with both of these cameras. They're both great RAW cameras. So there's that. So this has been my video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.